It's time for Recipe of the Day. I love Alfredo sauce. Like, when you go to Olive Garden and you ask for a side of Alfredo sauce to dip your breadsticks in, that kind of love for Alfredo sauce. So good. But it's kind of a heavy thing to have all the time. And so I have come up with a recipe that has my favorite flavors from Alfredo sauce, the garlic and the Parmesan cheese, but with Greek yogurt instead of all that cream. So it's quite a bit lighter and has a nice protein punch. The only real drawback to using the Greek yogurt here is that yogurt can curdle when it's heated. And so you do have to be kind of careful when making it to make sure that you don't risk curdling it. But I will say, if you make a mistake or it just doesn't go quite as well as you hoped and it does curdle on you a little bit, it's perfectly safe to eat. There's nothing wrong with it. Just try and think of it as like you've stirred some ricotta into your Alfredo sauce and it's lovely. But yeah, so it's not going to curdle probably, but I just want you to know that there is a chance and that you need to be a little bit careful, especially when it comes to heat with this sauce. So what you're going to do is melt 2 tablespoons of butter in a small saucepan over medium-low heat and then add in 2 cloves of minced garlic, stir and cook for about a minute. Then stir in half a cup of white wine. If you don't want to use white wine, you can use a half cup of water or vegetable broth or a chicken broth, maybe with just a tiny bit of lemon juice, like 1/8 of a teaspoon. You just want the tiniest bit just for that little bit of tang that you're not getting from the wine. Okay, then increase the heat, bring it up to a simmer so that the garlic and the wine or whatever you're using has a chance to kind of meld together. Bring it up to that simmer and then take it off the heat and let it sit for a good 2 minutes. We want that cooled down because next we are stirring in 1 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. So you're going to whisk that right in there. And then you're also going to whisk in a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. Now, I mean shreds, not the grated Parmesan cheese that's more like little crumbles, like thick grains of sand. You don't want that. You don't want the powdered stuff in the container. You want it to be shredded. And that's just because it's going to melt easier, but also not have that grainy kind of texture, which in this case you could mistake for it curdling. And we don't want that because we're already trying to avoid it curdling, right? So we don't want anything that could like trick us and think it's curdling when it's not. I think the other reason for me specifying shredded so strongly is to get the measurement right. Shredded Parmesan cheese is quite light and fluffy, whereas grated Parmesan cheese is quite a bit heavier. 1 cup of grated Parmesan cheese is not going to be the same as shredded Parmesan cheese, right? Okay, so you whisk in the Parmesan cheese. Then you're going to put your saucepan back over very low heat, the lowest it goes. And you're going to stir constantly just until the Parmesan is like starting to melt. It's just a couple of minutes. Don't let it come to a simmer. Don't let it come to a boil. That is going to cause it to curdle. Then take it off of the heat. And I would go so far as to say that if you're not using it right away, you should transfer it to a bowl so it's not still in the pan that is hot right now. When it comes to tossing this with pasta, if you actually drain your pasta and then put it back into the pot that it was cooking in, that pot and that pasta are quite hot, and those two things combined can cause your sauce to curdle. So instead, drain your pasta and then put it in a room temperature bowl or a pot that you did not just have on the heat. So just a big container of some kind. So drain your pasta and put it into there and stir it around for like 30 seconds and then add your sauce to it. That will have cooled the pasta down just that little bit. It's still going to be hot. It's still going to help finish melting the Parmesan cheese and warm that yogurt up and everything like that, but it's not going to risk curdling your sauce. Oh, and I should have said this makes enough sauce for 14 ounces of pasta. So you cook up 14 ounces of pasta and drain it, and then this sauce will be perfect. I will put the link to this recipe in the show notes for this podcast episode, or you can head to cookthestory.com/ROTD and get it there, or find it in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/recipeotd. And hey, just a quick note. I'm on a recording hiatus right now, so for the next little while, I'm replaying episodes from the archives, including this one. If you heard me mention a holiday, a season, or something going on in my life that seemed a bit off, that's why. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're enjoying these older episodes. I am Christine Pittman from cookthestory.com, thecookful.com, cookfor2.us, and from this podcast, Recipe of the Day. I hope you have a great day. Let's get cooking.